tried my best to make the laptop dance. That was a first. So it's a cold day here in Austin, but it's a hot day in the market. In fact, the hottest stock today, without a doubt, HUSA was up over 500% not intraday. After its crazy gap and then subsequent push over VWAP consolidation all midday, and then just an absolute ripper. Now, to be completely fair, basically any stock that has the word energy, oil, gas, petroleum, it doesn't matter, was up today. Of course, because of this massive, issue we've got going on overseas right now, and this is leading to a lot of sector momentum regarding energy. As it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but there's actually not there hasn't been like a decrease in oil production across the world or anything, but it's that scarce mindset, right? Or like that scared mindset, I should say, that it will become a scarce commodity. Yeah. Commodity, because as we continue to issue sanctions, so far the U.S. is still buying Russian oil, as last I knew, that a couple of days ago. So again, we don't buy a ton from them, but there's been no real decrease in the supply of oil. But with that mindset, a lot of energy names are running, especially these alternate energy source names. Whether that be like solar or really, I guess, again, any kind of energy. It's crazy. And that has led to some of the craziest sector momentum we've seen in months. It's been fantastic. Let's dig on into the charts. INDO has primarily been I'd say weeks, but, really past few weeks, biggest multi-day mover from $5 up to a high of 87 today. 86.99, call it 87 though. It did get pretty weak towards the end of the day. It struggled to continue, just falling off, but very low volume on that fall off. That being said, we had a ton of other names that were going crazy. HUSA with that gap originally it closed yesterday. It looks like under 2, gapped up to 6 at its pre-market high. And as we tapped pre-market high here, we got this really long consolidation and then subsequent breakout, which was pretty nice. And then it just kept going. It just did not want to stop. It was getting way too risky up here, in my opinion, to trade. I did not want to be a part of it anywhere. I was watching this area, but the risk simply seemed higher than the reward. And while it did continue to rip, but regardless, worst case, I was going to have to be risking roughly $1.50 up, roughly $1.50, $2 a share at this spot. And you only got I got $4 from there. It seemed like the potential for a dump, being up already a few 100% on the day, regardless of how hot the sector was just something I wasn't comfortable with taking it at this level here. So did avoid it after this, but nonetheless, a fantastic mover. IMPP has been another one of those multi-day runners. Actually, Huddie locked in over $80,000 on this swing overnight. A fantastic trade by Huddie. Just amazing gap up there from the high 3s up into the nearly 5s, ran all the way to 840 today for an all-time high breakout. Technically speaking, again, there's very little volume traded in this time. So the real breakout was actually that 350 level, which is why it went so crazy, with this overnight breakout through 350, that gap up, just amazing. A very low float stock as well. We also have 9, which I actually didn't even really watch much of today, but it did have it had a much bigger gap up. Pretty interesting close. That could continue. That could absolutely continue. That would have been a really nice area down in here, but can't hit them all. And then CEI, another crazy multi-day move from a low of 55 yesterday to a high of nearly 150 today. This is one of those crazy former runners that we saw during the pump, probably one of the wildest pumps I've seen in a long time, just because of how beaten down it was, down into the 30 cents, up to nearly 5 with so much volume traded, right? It's a higher float one too, which is why so many people got trapped in this. It wasn't even, it was rotating its float, essentially once every day for most of these run-ups, but it just kept going, and now ultimately we had a massive dump, right? And it continued all the way back down to, what did it get down to here? 40s, back basically at all-time lows. Now, pretty crazy bounce. It's in the energy sector. So, while this is a wild bounce, probably one that is relatively appealing to shorts, it's in the right sector where I don't see this breaking out. Personally, I don't see it breaking out at all, but I certainly don't see it breaking out anytime soon if it were to break out. But it's not something I want to touch short. Certainly not something I want to touch long for a swing. But if this, and I'm assuming it will, if all these conflicts remain, if they keep presenting themselves as actual issues, I'm sure we can see continued sector momentum in the oil energy space. And if it's anything like it was, back in, it's kind of funny, right? Like almost 2 years on the dot when we had COVID, that COVID panic, and we had a lot of COVID names start running. That initially heated up the market with those COVID runners, which then turned into so many just other crazy sectors going off, here and there. Some of them lasting longer than others. The EV sector ended up running late 2020 and lasting. That was essentially like a month or two of a real crazy EV movement. Would not surprise me. I don't recall many OTCs running, but in the energy sector, not yet anyways. I haven't seen any on like a top percent gainer, but that's generally how this starts, right? Is money tends to trickle down. So generally issues start at the more macro level, which doesn't necessarily need to mean that those sectors the stocks in those sectors in the large cap world go off, although a lot of them are. I bet even if I type in I wonder if ExxonMobil, I'd just be interested to see what that's looking like. Yeah, I mean, even this large cap, right? We all know ExxonMobil up 3.5% today. Yeah. So it all trickles down. Then it trickles into small caps. And then generally, if it's a lasting hot sector, it will trickle its way down into the OTC realm. So those will be interesting if this sector continues to stay hot. Some interesting watches in the OTC land for sure. But anyways, that's all I've got for today. Pretty crazy market. Going to watch for some continuation in the following days, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can sustain this momentum. We are getting really overextended on a lot of the oil names, but there are other types of energy stocks, right? Whether that's solar, or I don't know if we've ever had like a wind sector. But this was a crazy runner from about, I want to say it was 2020. JKS, and it's looking pretty crazy, right? It ran from 20 up to 90 without a single red day, but I remember everyone waiting for the first red day on this, and it just never came. And it's like holding up extremely well, all things considered. And it would not at all surprise me to see these types of former runners, even like today. I tried it a couple times. Pola, these old names that were crazy runners. I mean, even this is just crazy. It was obviously, this took a long time, but from $1 up to nearly 30. There was Sun W. Again, these are. I don't know if Pola is necessarily a solar. I just know it's an energy, but a lot of these old names, I'm sure we'll see some bounces on them. Even if the momentum in the oil and gas space kind of dies down, these other energy sources, I would not be surprised to see continued runs. So fingers crossed that this can be some lasting momentum. I think there's a lot of potential. And that's all we can do is keep hoping for continued momentum. I hope you guys all crushed it today. Hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your week. Trading aside, even just hope you had a great weekend. You know what I mean? And with that being said, I'll see you guys back here on Wednesday for Wednesday's small cap recap. So long as it doesn't conflict with my webinar I have to give on Wednesday, I'll try to be there for you guys. And again, fingers crossed we get this momentum to continue. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you back here Wednesday. Cheers.
We hope you guys enjoyed that last video. Thanks so much for watching and being a part of the StocksTrade community. We wouldn't be here without you guys. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Our goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but we can't do it without your help. So if you enjoy what we're putting out and want to hear more, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.